A very good evening to all our viewers and welcome to this Sunday's edition of Primetime News coming to you live from our Newsfirst studios in Colombo. I'm Lanka. Let's start off with a look at the stories making headlines this evening.
Ranil goes to the Carlton residence to meet Mahinda. President speaks of the plight of those who fear the day where the law is enforced equally on all citizens. A revelation that two mobile phones belonging to Sampath Manamperi have been destroyed. Sirasa Manchi Tikiri world comes alive. Large crowds turn up at Vihara Mahadevi Park. India take on Pakistan in the finals of the Asia Cup.
And now the stories in detail. Former President Ranil Wickremesinghe visited former President Mahinda Rajapaksa at his Carlton residence in Tengol to inquire into the health of former President Mahinda Rajapaksa.
Former President Ranil Wickremesinghe visited the Carlton residence in Tengol this morning, accompanied by a group including Sagala Ratnayaka. Later, former Presidents Mahinda Rajapaksa and Ranil Wickremesinghe engaged in a cordial conversation. The former presidents further met with the members of the public from various parts of the country who had also gathered at the residence to meet the two former presidents. Several politicians who have served under both leaders were also present during the visit.
Divide and conquer is a tactic that is used by many. Now, this tactic has also been used in Sri Lanka. The recent turn of events have completely exposed the underbelly of the underhand deals and the reality of politics. Let's take a look at what was said then and now.
අලුත් දේශපාලන සංස්කෘතියක් ඕනද? පරණ දේශපාලන සංස්කෘතිය ඕනද? යහපාලනය ඕනද? පෞල් පාලනය ඕනද? තරුණයන්ගේ අනාගතය ආරක්ෂා කරනවද? රාජපක්ෂ රෙජිමේ අනාගතය ආරක්ෂා කරනවද? මේ සමහර අය බය වෙලා තියෙන්නේ. ඒගොල්ලෝ විගහට ආණ්ඩු බලය ගන්න ඕනේ. අර දූෂණයට විරුද්ධව පරීක්ෂණ නිතිකයන් පටන් ගත්තේ නිසා. ඒ කරුණ ඔක්කොම හොයාගන්න ඉස්සෙල්ලා කොහොමද ආපහු බලය ගන්න කියලා බලනවා. මම දන්නවා මහින්ද රාජපක්ෂ ජනාධිපතිතුමා ඉන්නේ නෑ ඔය ඡන්දේ. ආපහු රාජපක්ෂ රෙජිමේ බලනවා ඔළුව උස්සන්න. ජාතිවාදය අදින්න. අපි මේ ඡන්දේ යොදව ගන්න ඕනේ රාජපක්ෂ රෙජිමයත් ඒ රාජපක්ෂ වාදයත් වලලා දාන්න ආපහු නැගිටින්නේ නැති විදිහට. මහින්ද රාජපක්ෂ අගමැති අපේක්ෂා වෙන්න ඕන නම් කරුණාකරලා අගමැති අපේක්ෂා වෙන්න. මේ සැරේ පරාජය කරනවා. අපර උදව් කරන්න ප්‍රභාකරන් කෙනෙක් නෑ. ප්‍රභාකර මේ සැරේ පරාජය කළා රාජපක්ෂ රෙජිමය අවසන් කරනවා කියලා මම මෙතන මේ යහපාලනය වෙනුවෙන් එක්සත් ජාතික පක්ෂය වෙනුවෙන් ප්‍රකාශ කරනවා. මහින්ද රාජපක්ෂ ඉල්ලේ පොඩ මහින්ද පොඩ මං කෑ ගහනකොට ඔයගොල්ලෝ කෑ ගහන්න එනේ කවුද හොරා කවුද හොරා කවුද හොරා.
President Anukumar Dissanayake says that the extent to which some people are afraid when the law is applied equally to all citizens of the country is evident in the way they abandon their party colours and unite as one force.
President Anukumar Dissanayake, who is on an official visit to Japan, shared these views while meeting with the Sri Lankans in Tokyo today.
A significant area is the widespread nature of fraud and corruption extending throughout the state mechanism. The law alone is not enough. We must ensure that the law is enforced. I believe this is happening now. The law is being enforced so much that it has led to 40 political parties uniting in one room. It's not simple. Even today I saw someone going to see someone else in Tangol. It will be on the news. These are people who were fighting each other. I saw another person saying, "We made a huge mistake. We called you thieves. You called us thieves. We insulted each other for a long time and this destroyed both sides. So let's not blame each other in the future." Why are they doing this? Because they know that the Anti-Corruption Act is being properly enforced. It is being enforced regardless of a person's wealth or power.
ඒක ධනයද බලයද දුප්පත්ද පොහොසත්ද
The president pointed out that even the evidence for certain crimes committed during the past period has been destroyed.
මේ ඔක්කොම ඇවිල්ලා මේ ඇවිල්ලා සුදු කරපටි මංකොල්ල.
All of these are white-collar crimes and require paper trails. Some documents needed are not in the country and have to be brought from abroad. The documents related to the Sri Lankan Airlines transaction must come from Singapore. The MIG deal is also under investigation. Some information needs to come from Singapore. The transaction regarding the Hambantota hospital needs to come from the Netherlands. We have sent requests for these documents and our embassies are getting involved. That's how it is. These are massive robberies. Investigations that can be quickly confirmed with documents will be finished very soon. More complex investigations take time. Take the MIG deal. It's 19 years old, dating back to 2006. Those involved in that fraud governed the country from 2006 until 2015. That is 9 years. They returned to power in 2019 and governed for about 3 years. Will the documents still exist? We have to look into it. They do exist, mind you, but more searching is needed. However, there are some cases where we can make arrests very quickly. We don't make those decisions. The Commission to investigate allegations of bribery or corruption and the Criminal Investigations Department are handling them. Our citizens must fear the law. Now it seems they are very much afraid of the law.
දැන් නම් නීතියට හොඳටම බය වෙලා බවත් පේනවා.
On the budget and taxation, the president said that every possible step will be taken to avoid introducing new taxes in the current budget and to reduce existing tax percentages.
තල තුනක අපිට වැඩක් තියෙනවා.
We have tasks on 3 levels. One is the economy, the second is making the government efficient, and the third is crucial, generating government revenue. In every budget, we anticipate the revenue for the coming year. For decades in our country, we have failed to generate sufficient revenue to match our expenses, forcing us to take on huge debts. I want to inform you that this year, for the first time in Sri Lanka, we have succeeded in earning revenue that exceeds the amount anticipated in the budget. For the next year, we are only expecting to take a loan of 3 trillion rupees. What should the government do? It needs to build a big economy outside. Even now, if you look at the revenue for the government, 90% is taxes. We are trying to ensure that no new taxes are introduced in this budget. We also have an expectation that as we move forward, we can reduce some tax amounts and percentages. We have an economic plan. Specifically, we expect all government payments in Sri Lanka to be made through digital systems by next year.
On national unity and peace, the president emphasized that the government's policy is to create a society where the rights of all citizens are protected, preventing the recurrence of a war.
අපේ ප්‍රවේශය යලි අපේ රටේ සිංහල දෙමළ මුස්ලිම් ජනයා අතර ගැටුමක් ඇති නොවන ආකාරයෙන් රට පාලනය කිරීම.
Our approach is to govern the country in a way that prevents another conflict from arising among the Sinhala, Tamil and Muslim people in our country. The North suffered the most destruction in the war. If you look at our country, the highest density of troops is in the North. Therefore, in line with the National Security Plan, some military camps are being systematically removed. What's the issue? The steps we are taking are necessary to prevent another war and to create national unity. If they require legal protection or if any part of the constitution seems to compromise their rights, we are ready to change those as well. If we make our country a state with equal and fair rights for all people, Sinhala, Tamil and Muslim, then we can build national unity. We must move forward without experiencing war or conflict again. That is our aspiration.
අපි යලි කිසිසේත්ම යුද්ධයක් ගැටුමක් අපේක්ෂා කරන්නේ නැතුව අපි ඉස්සරහට යන්න ඕන. ඒක අපේ අපේක්ෂාව.
දැන් කන්ට්‍රේන 323ක් හාබේගෙන් පිටට ගියා. ඔය කන්ට්‍රේන වල ඇතුලේ තියෙන්නේ මොනවද කියලා තාම කිසිම කෙනෙක් දන්නේ නැහැ.
අපේ සිස්ටම් එකක් තිබිලා තියෙනවා.
We had a system. When containers got stuck from May of last year, they would look at the history of the person bringing them in. They had certain criteria established by a committee. What that committee does is release those containers based on those criterias and factors. This has happened 13 times. The 323 containers you mention are from the 13th instance. If questions are to be raised, they should ask what happened to the other 13 times. I instructed the Secretary to the Ministry of Finance to appoint a committee. The committee has given us a report. We have now forwarded that report to the Criminal Investigations Department. Then the question comes up about the 2 heroin containers. Were they part of this? As I said, there can be risks even with containers that are inspected and risks with those that are not. Those 2 containers with drugs were containers that had been inspected. There are issues even with the ones that are inspected. That is why we need to find the answer.
Revelations have surfaced that Sampath Manamperi, who is currently in remand custody, had destroyed 2 of his mobile phones. This was revealed when Manamperi was interrogated by officers of the Western North Crimes Division.
According to police, further investigations have been launched based on the phone numbers of the destroyed phones. The acting Minister of Defence had granted permission on the 26th of September to detain Sampath Manamperi for 90 days for further questioning. Manamperi, a former Pradesh Sabha candidate of the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna, is the second suspect in connection with the discovery of a stock of chemicals in Mithenia that are used in the production of crystal methamphetamine, commonly known as the drug ice.
Amal Silva, a member of the Dehiwala Mount Lavinia Municipal Council representing the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna and former Western Provincial Council member, has been taken into custody. He was arrested in connection with an investigation conducted by the Walana Anti-Vice Unit. Amal Silva was arrested on allegations related to his involvement in illegally importing 3 jeeps valued at over 60 million rupees, which were reportedly registered under false information at the Department of Motor Traffic using forged documents. The suspect is due to be produced in court tomorrow. Minister of Public Security Ananda Vijaypala says that despite all challenges, combating crime and narcotics continues to be a top priority.
The minister expressed these views during the ceremony to lay the foundation for a new rehabilitation center in the central province aimed at rehabilitating drug addicts.
There is a direct link between organized crime and narcotics. This issue has gradually spread across the country. And today, our children are increasingly being affected by it. The situation is far more serious than most of us realize. Recently, the Inspector General of Police made public the phone numbers of several SDIGs, urging the public to provide information by dialing these numbers. I spoke with the Senior Deputy Inspector General in charge of the Southern Province, who told me that over 2,000 complaints and tip-offs have already been received from the Southern Province alone. If that many reports are received just from the South, imagine the scale of the drug problem across the entire country. The extent of narcotics and its spread is staggering. Our primary responsibility is twofold: to prevent the supply of narcotics into the country and, on the other hand, to reduce the demand for these drugs. We have made a firm decision that the narcotics network must be disrupted at all costs. Organized criminals are directly connected to this network, and separating the two is extremely difficult as they operate together. Therefore, as a government, we have decided that, regardless of all the challenges, tackling organized crime and controlling narcotics will remain a top priority.
All institutions under the purview of the Committee on Public Enterprises or COPE have been summoned for a meeting on the 2nd of October. The total number of institutions summoned is 457.
The problem that has been going on so far is that when it comes to state enterprises under the purview of the COPE committee, not all of them are summoned to appear before the COPE committee at the same time. That is a major weakness. Some institutions believe that it is not necessary to appear before the COPE committee. However, while we are also intervening to change that situation, according to the information we have received from the institutions we have summoned, there are a number of common issues in many institutions. That is, there are a number of forms of corruption and fraud that misuse public funds. Therefore, we are making an effort, especially the Department of National Budget, as well as the Department of Public Enterprises, the Auditor General's Department, the Department of Management Services, and Parliament, especially the COPE Committee, to intervene and summon all these institutions on the 2nd of October.
පාර්ලිමේන්තුවට එන්න කියලා තියෙන්නේ.
News First with the people.
News First, main sponsor.
A trusted place for your fixed deposits. Valuable FD 10.25% for 15 months, 11% for 24 months. Valuable FD, the symbol of stability.
Education for true freedom.
Let us create a joyful world, but first let us become peaceful.
We hope for a world full of kind citizens.
Give your colors to color up our dreams.
To foster respect, empathy and humanity through education.
To hope for a world full of joy and sustainability, we must find peace in all of us.
Slow progress to succeed your life is better than no progress.
I wish I could travel freely from point of Dondra to point of Pedro anytime without any fear or a worry.
A new chapter for Sri Lanka is being written not by politicians but by its future. What you just heard were snippets of the powerful visions penned by our nation's children, each one a blueprint for a better, more modern island. While countless brilliant ideas filled our pages, time only allows us to share a glimpse. For nearly a month, we travelled the length and breadth of the country, meeting school children eager to contribute. Their enthusiasm for crafting a modern nation was simply electrifying, and today we celebrate not just the children themselves, but the thousands of dreams they entrusted to us.
Sirasa TV Manchi Dikiri Punchi Lokaya.
The Sirasa TV World Children's Day celebration was titled Sirasa Manchi Tikiri Punchi Lokaya. A large number of children from all corners of the island attended the festival, which was held at the Vihara Mahadevi Park in Colombo. The inaugural ceremony this morning was presided over by the Secretary to the Ministry of Education, Higher Education and Vocational Education, Nalaka Kalaweva, Commissioner of the Department of Probation and Childcare Services, Gayani Kaushalya Vijay Singha, Mayoress of the Colombo Municipal Council, Roy Kelly Balthasar, Municipal Commissioner of the CMC, Palita Nanayakara, General Manager and CEO of Bank of Ceylon, Y.A. Jai Tilaka, CEO of Ranko Private Limited, Dinesh Dharmaratna, Group Director of the Sirasa Media Network and the Capital Maharaja Group, Siobhan Daniel, and CEO of MTV Channel Private Limited, Yasarat Kamal Simi. We organized this year's World Children's Day celebration in a completely different way. This was done by directly asking the children what their future should be like. We started this project on the 11th of September and the program was implemented covering all 25 districts. It is with the ideas given by these children that we are celebrating World Children's Day today. During this program, the children also created paintings showing what kind of future they envision. The 10 paintings with the best ideas were recognized and awarded today. Following the inaugural ceremony, the chief guests didn't forget to join the various events organized for the children. The entire Vihara Mahadevi Park was overflowing with happy and vibrant children. The children were able to gain a novel experience with the climbing sport. There was a strong interest among the children for the Olympic sport of climbing. Another attractive feature was the event organized by the Colombo Municipal Council Fire Services Unit. The CMC Fire Services Unit gave the children an unforgettable new experience regarding rescue operations. Various competitions were held for the little ones throughout the day, with archery and drawing being the main ones. A reading camp was also held for the children to develop their interest in reading. Not only that, those who attended today had the opportunity to donate books for the gum at the libraries under the theme "From a Small Hand to Another Small Hand." These books are intended for the gum at the libraries being built for school children in rural areas. Meanwhile, the little ones also had the chance to audition for the Kids First, Punchi Panchi and Newsfirst screen tests. Children also gathered with great enthusiasm for the Sirasa FM voice tests. The Children's Day celebration was coloured by the children's vibrant dance performances. Children who came to the Viharamahadevi Park today were also given the opportunity to tour the city of Colombo on a double-decker bus. An official dog show was also held today, presented by the Sri Lanka Air Force Air Dog Unit. The children had a wonderful experience with the various events organized for them throughout the day. Everyone who attended had the opportunity to enjoy themselves with the Sirasa Voice Kids singing stars this afternoon. We have one key responsibility: to create a creative generation ready to cross into the future. That bridge from the present to the future is something we all must help build. This better world requires a committed, unified society where no one is discriminated against. Sirasa TV is honored to contribute to this national goal once again. Protecting our children is the only way to guarantee a secured future for our country. By investing in them now, we are investing in tomorrow. We must focus on giving them the strongest start possible.
The Indian High Commission today hosted the Viksit Bharat Run, celebrating India-Sri Lanka friendship.
The High Commission of India in Colombo hosted Viksit Bharat Run, India, Sri Lanka Partners in Progress today as part of a global initiative held simultaneously across India and over 150 cities worldwide. This 5-kilometer run highlights India's development journey while highlighting the enduring bonds of friendship and cooperation between India and Sri Lanka.
A highlight of this year's observance is the Viksit Bharat Run today, here in Colombo and across 150 global locations under the theme Run to Serve Your Nation. We run not only to serve our nations, but also to contribute symbolically to our communities and to reaffirm the deep bonds of friendship between India and Sri Lanka. As India moves towards a Viksit Bharat, a developed India by 2047, we also look forward to a developed Sri Lanka with both our nations as partners in progress. We share not only close maritime boundaries, but also the same aspirations for better lives and greater prosperity for our citizens. Both our nations are vibrant democracies, proud of our democratic values Our industries, enterprises, civil society, and people will continue to work together, stride for stride, towards the vision of developed India and a developed Sri Lanka.
The initiative marks the 75th birthday of Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Participants and dignitaries joined at the run to mark this special occasion, emphasizing the shared values and partnerships between the two nations.
National AI Expo and conference organized by the Ministry of Digital Economy in collaboration with SLT Mobitel is set to take place on September 29th and 30th in Colombo, setting the stage for a transformative shift in the nation's digital evolution.
National AI Expo and Conference, a two-day event organized in collaboration with the Ministry of Digital Economy, Information and Communication Technology Agency of Sri Lanka, also known as ICTA, and SLT Mobitel, is set to begin tomorrow. A few international speakers and delegates scheduled to speak at the event arrived in the country today and were welcomed by officials of the Ministry of Digital Economy and SLT Mobitel.
It's a great topic because all the global leaders from all over Asia are coming here to meet with the Sri Lankan business leaders as well as the government leaders to discuss a very important topic like AI. And I'm sure that AI has a very bright future in Sri Lanka, given the digital economy is really progressing well here. So it's going to be 2 days of great conversations with all the different business leaders.
Thanks to the Ministry of Digital Economy and SLT Mobile for organizing this first AI conference in Sri Lanka. The Ministry of Digital Economy is inviting one of the best top talents to have these conferences, and this will generate a lot of technical debates to empower the Sri Lankan AI generated economy. AI is the powerful frontier force for the next fourth industrial revolution, and this is going to disrupt the Sri Lankan economy sooner.
Right, it's such an honor to be invited by Sri Lankan government, and I'm so happy to be here to be able to share our experiences from Singapore, and I truly look forward to more collaborations moving forward between Singapore as well as Sri Lanka.
You guys are diving into AI and you want to explore all the opportunities in AI. So I want to talk more about artificial intelligence, robotics, my learnings of all this experience. And I also wanted to discuss with you guys to see how we can build the skill set or the workforce needed to kind of ramp yourself up to into AI and robotics. And industrial automation 5.0 is a great thing that's happening.
The trailblazing initiative is the country's most ambitious undertaking to position Sri Lanka as a leading AI hub in the Asia-Pacific region, accelerating artificial intelligence adoption throughout all economic sectors.
The Film Heritage Festival in Sri Lanka, jointly organized by the Embassy of France, Film Heritage Foundation of India and the National Film Corporation of Sri Lanka, is currently underway in Colombo.
The Embassy of France, in collaboration with the Film Heritage Foundation and the National Film Corporation of Sri Lanka, launched the Film Heritage Festival as part of the FISH project, the France-India-Sri Lanka Cine Heritage Initiative. The festival spans 2 days, offering audiences a rare opportunity to experience restored films from France, India and Sri Lanka. Cinema lovers were treated to timeless classics including Masterclass, Manthan, Maya Miriga, The 400 Blows, Hansavilak, Cleo de 5A7 and Bambaru Avit, all screened at the National Film Corporation premises in Colombo.
One day he was outside, he just got the check from the post office and suddenly...
The festival aims to celebrate the rich cinematic history of the three countries while giving audiences a chance to experience iconic films in their restored glory.
Taking centre stage with stellar performances, Visakha Vidyalaya and St. Joseph's College, Colombo emerged victorious at the 50th All-Ireland Inter-School Shakespeare Drama Competition.
Marking 50 years of Shakespearean brilliance, the All-Ireland Inter-School Drama Competition 2025 drew to a close with its finals being held at the Bishop's College Auditorium. The competition was organised by the Rotary Club of Colombo North together with the Colombo YMCA.
That you've been so earnest to have me fetch it.
Why? What is that to you?
If it be not for some purpose of import, give it me again. Your lady should on marry, she shall lack it.
Be not acknowledged! I have use for it.
The All-Ireland Inter-Schools Shakespeare Drama Competition has been held annually since 1973, making it the longest-running inter-school Shakespeare drama contest in Sri Lanka, and serves not only as a stage for young talent, but as a platform that sharpens their confidence and keeps alive the timeless works of William Shakespeare. Visakha Vidyalaya was crowned as winners in the girls' competition. Bishop's College Colombo secured second place. The spotlight then shifted to the boys' finals, where St. Joseph's College Colombo claimed the crown, with Royal College Colombo clinching the runners-up spot. St. Peter's College secured third place, while St. Thomas's College Mount Lavinia came in fourth. This year, a new individual award for Best Cameo Performance was introduced in memory of the late President's Counsel and Rotarian Dulip Jayamaha, a driving force behind the competition's success.
Russia launched hundreds of drones and missiles at Kiev and other parts of Ukraine early today, killing at least 4 people and injuring dozens in one of the most sustained attacks on the capital since the full-scale war began.
A massive Russian aerial bombardment that lasted more than 12 hours has killed at least 4 people and injured 40 others in Ukraine. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said the deaths occurred in the capital Kiev and the victims included a 12-year-old girl. Russia launched nearly 600 drones and several dozen missiles towards 7 regions of Ukraine, according to its Air Force. Zelensky said the quote-unquote wild attack also saw at least 16 people injured, including 3 children. He warned that Ukraine would retaliate and said the attack showed Moscow, quote, wants to continue fighting and killing, end quote. Ukraine's response. Last night's extended barrage is one of the heaviest overnight aerial bombardments in recent months as Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine continues its 3rd year. Zelensky said many of the projectiles were aimed at Kiev, where the Institute of Cardiology had been damaged. A bread factory, an automobile rubber factory, as well as apartment buildings and civilian infrastructure were also targeted, he said. Zelensky vowed that Ukraine, quote, will strike back, unquote, in a bid to force diplomacy from Russia, and said he was counting on, quote, strong reaction, unquote, from Europe and the United States. He added, quote, this dastardly attack took place in fact as the end of the week of the UN General Assembly, and this is how Russia declares its real position, unquote. Zelensky reiterated his support of US President Donald Trump's threat of harsher sanctions on Russia, as well as his call for European allies to curb their Russian oil and gas imports. Trump has recently shifted his position on the war, saying for the first time last week that he thought Ukraine could retake the land it had lost from Moscow as the Russian economy flagged under the strain of a prolonged war. The US president has so far desisted from imposing further sanctions on Russia, but has appeared increasingly frustrated with the lack of eagerness from the Kremlin to begin peace talks. Zelensky warned yesterday that Russia would not stop with his country, which is why it was testing European air defenses with the recent incursions in several countries belonging to the NATO military alliance. How are Russian drone attacks impacting NATO and other countries? Meanwhile, the nation's armed forces said jets were scrambled in neighboring Poland early today as Russia hit western Ukraine. The Polish military further described the actions, which have become routine since Polish and NATO aircraft shot down 3 Russian drones in Poland's airspace on the 10th of September, as preventive. Earlier this week, Moscow denied responsibility after Denmark said drones were flown over its airports. Denmark itself has said the incidents appear to be work of a professional actor without specifying who this may be. Estonia and Romania have also accused Russia of violating their airspace. After the incursions, NATO launched a mission to bolster its eastern flank. Trump has gone as far as to say that NATO nations should shoot down Russian planes in their airspace. In a speech to the UN General Assembly on Saturday, Russia's foreign minister said his country had no intention of attacking EU or NATO member states, but warned of a, quote, decisive response, unquote, to any aggression directed towards Moscow. Russia's response. Russia's defense ministry has now confirmed it had carried out a quote-unquote massive attack on Ukraine using long-range and sea-based weapons and drones to target military infrastructure, including airfields. Moscow has denied targeting civilians in its war against Ukraine, although thousands have been killed and residential areas extensively damaged by its attacks.
A stampede at actor-turned-politician Vijay's rally in Karur claimed 39 lives, including 9 children and 17 women.
39 people, including 9 children and 17 women, were killed in a stampede at actor-turned-politician and Tamilaga Vetri Kalagam chief Vijay's rally in Tamil Nadu's Karur. The crowd swelled and became uncontrollable when Vijay was addressing the gathering, and a number of people, including party workers and a few children, fainted and fell down. Hours after the stampede, Vijay condoled the deaths and said that his heart is shattered. Tamil Nadu Chief Minister M.K. Stalin held an emergency meeting following the incident. The Chief Minister has announced compensation of 1 million Indian rupees each to the victims' families.
Moving on to sports news now. For the first time in history, India and Pakistan are facing each other in the final of the T20 Asia Cup 2025.
It's a big one. Where's this ball sailing to? The bat to a full house here in Dubai.
India and Pakistan are entering the final of the T20 Asia Cup 2025 for the first time in history. After the Super 4 stage concluded, the two teams secured the top 2 positions on the points table, earning their spot in the final of the T20 Asia Cup 2025.
Absolutely stunning.
This here is all about my wife, my kids, the life that I live.
All matches of the 2025 Asia Cup T20 tournament can be watched live on TV1, the official local broadcasting rights holder of the tournament, and online via www.sirasatv.lk.
The Sri Lankan team that participated in the T20 Asia Cup 2025 returned to the island last night. Sri Lanka's head coach Sanacha Surya said that the team will put in their maximum effort to deliver a top-notch performance in next year's T20 World Cup.
The Sri Lankan team, having won all 3 of their matches in the group stage, qualified for the Super 4 stage. In the Super 4 stage, Sri Lanka lost their first 2 matches. Their third match was against India, which turned out to be a thrilling encounter, ultimately won by India.
We need to perform well in all the upcoming matches. My hope is that the team puts in maximum effort to secure a strong position at the World Cup in Sri Lanka next year. We also need to be honest about our mistakes. If there were errors on our part, we must acknowledge them. We are aware of the shortcomings and the players have accepted and recognized them.
The Sri Lankan women's cricket team departed the island this morning to participate in their opening match of the ICC Women's Cricket World Cup 2025. The tournament will be jointly hosted by India and Sri Lanka, with Shamari Athapathu leading the Sri Lankan team. Sri Lanka will face India in the opening match, scheduled to take place on the 30th of September in Guwahati, India. The Sirasa Media Network holds the official domestic broadcasting rights for the ICC Women's Cricket World Cup 2025.
The first stage of the annual water polo tournament between Royal College Colombo and St. Thomas's College Mount Lavinia took place yesterday.
The 32nd edition of the annual water polo tournament is being held at the Sugatadasa swimming pool complex in Colombo. In the opening match of the first stage of under 15 age group, St. Thomas's College won the match 15-11. In the under 19 category, Royal College Colombo won the opening match of the first stage, defeating St. Thomas's College 18-9. The second stage of the tournament is scheduled for the 4th of October at the Sugatadasa swimming pool complex.
And with that, we wrap up tonight's edition of Primetime News. Thank you very much for joining us. Good night.